Hey, it's David Ruddock, founder and managing director of Insane Technologies. Last time we spoke about the incident response plan and how quite often the plan we see is really ineffective. And when we're coming in for incident response because your business has suffered from a cyber attack, it just doesn't work, or you don't have one. Today I want to go a little bit further. This video is targeting the business owner, business manager. It's going to be fairly non-technical, but that doesn't mean that technical people shouldn't at least take in the information, because you may be called upon to either assist in this process or to answer some questions for the business, because I'm sure they're going to have them. This is a process based upon my original client and mentor, a gentleman by the name of Jim Aiken. He was the first person to employ me in my business. And he would start off by looking at the information systems his business relied upon. What are the systems your business relies upon? And every business, every industry will be slightly different. So you need to sit down and think about, okay, is email important to my business? What is the main line of business database that your business relies upon for servicing customers? Maybe file services that your staff use all the time, the file drives, the cloud storage, whatever. Anything else that maybe you can think of that is critical to the day-to-day operations of your business. They're the things we want to focus on right now. The next question is, how long can your business not have access to that service or that system before it becomes a problem for you? If your business was without email for a day, what is the impact to your business? If you are a business that gets sales via email and timeliness of response to those emails is critical in someone buying from you versus someone else, then you might be an hour. If email isn't that important to your business, and generally speaking, most of your inquiries come through via telephone, maybe it's a day, maybe it's a week. The next question would be, if you lost the data that's stored in that system and had to restore to a previous backup, how old could that data be? A few years back, I did some work for a hospitality venue. If they lost more than 15 minutes worth of data from their point of sale system, it would start costing them a lot of money. Yes, they'd have all the receipts, but to do all the data entry to catch up when they had several dozen tills would start becoming a big problem. How old can that data be if I have to restore from a previous backup? How much data can I afford to lose? The next thing to think about is, what is the workaround if that system is offline? Maybe you are a medical center and you take bookings. Maybe once a day you print out the booking register and have it running side by side next to the till or next to the reception counter, so that if everything goes wrong, you've got that there. Next thing is to understand who is the product owner of that software system on your team. If you had to do user acceptance testing, this would be the person that would do it for you because they know that system perfectly. That person becomes the product owner of that software, so that if something had to be restored or the system had to be brought back online, they'd be the person you'd speak to in your team to help you test it and make sure it's working. Now we need to probably know, where exactly does that software system live? Is it a SaaS, software as a service platform, where it's cloud hosted and you just pay a monthly subscription and it exists? Or is it something that you have installed on a cloud server of your own or on an on-prem server? This is where we now come back to the asset list and start highlighting what those assets relate to. What critical business systems or information systems do those assets belong to? What vendor looks after that software? How's the system backed up? How far back does that backup go? What time does it take to restore that backup? And these are questions you want to pose to your vendor or your IT team about these critical systems. And the answer, hint, hint, needs to align with the answers you gave before regarding how long can you afford to be offline with that system, and also how far back can that system's data go back before it becomes critical to your business. Does that information system store sensitive personal information about your customers, your employees, maybe your vendors? Maybe it's your practice management system. Does it store their Medicare number, their date of birth? If it's employees, does it store their tax file number? All of these things you need to understand about that information system. because somewhere down the track you may have to consider whether or not that information system has been breached and whether or not you have privacy obligations to notify potentially affected individuals if their data has left your care. And this is where we want to know, does that information system provide access auditing? When someone logs in, is that activity logged? Does it record the username that logged in, the time they logged in, maybe the device or IP address they logged in from? How long does it keep that data for? Does it record when a record is added, edited, or deleted? Specifically, does it record which record was added by which person at what time? Does it record what record was deleted by who at what time? And finally, does it show what record was edited by what user at what time and what was changed? We've seen cases where people's accounting software has been hacked and the user has got in and changed the bank account details for a supplier, so the next time the supplier's invoice was paid using the internal batch payment process, the BSB and account number that should have automatically gone into the batch download and uploaded to the bank got changed and several $100,000 got wired to the wrong account. If you are using some sort of vendor's software that, particularly if it's hosted on the internet or internet accessible, do they do some sort of penetration testing, some security audit, independent, not internal team, independent security assessment of their software? Once you've got all of this, again, you want to sit down with your business, you want to sit down with your IT team, and you want to make sure that everything aligns. And you probably want to go through and put some priorities on if you have a cyber incident and those systems are deleted, those systems are affected, those systems are taken offline. Number one, you want to know how to get your business back up and running really, really fast. And having those workarounds in place will help you do that. Number two, you want to be able to identify for your IT team, your incident response team, what systems need to be focused on first. Number three, you want to know which vendors to go to in getting that plan started. And number four, you'll understand your legal notification, compliance, privacy obligations are concerned. So that's it. It's not the world's most complicated process. It's not that technical. You can always ask your technical people for some help. It just takes a little bit of time. It'll take involving members of your team. There may be systems that you're not aware of that your business does use and depends upon. It just doesn't come under your radar as, the business manager, or it's not in your department. But by engaging your team and asking what are the critical systems, going through this process to work out, time offline, recovery point, who's responsible for them, who manages them, what your support agreement is, how are they backed up, how do we restore, where do they live, is it on an asset we own? When you have a business interruption event, whether it's cyber or not, you'll be able to work through it. If you need help putting together a incident response plan or a business continuity plan or reviewing your current IRP or BCP, give us a call. I hope you found this interesting. Please leave any comments, feedback in the comment section below. Remember to like the video so I know to actually keep doing these things. But I'm really hoping that we're adding some value for businesses out there and helping to make easier some things that seem so complex.